Welcome everyone to Tempus University. My name is Zac Jones. I am an implementation consultant here at Prosymmetry. So in this video, we're actually going to be going over the configuration and setup of security groups and how those tie to access. So security groups and access are really a part of Tempus Resource's security model, which really allows the admin the ability and really flexibility to give the proper permissions so end users can focus on their tasks while also maintaining good security practices. So project and security groups basically have a one-to-one relationship with either a project to a project security group and a resource to a resource security group. So at any given time, a resource can only belong to one resource security group, and same thing with project. Once a project or resource is created, they can immediately be added to an existing security group. So a security group on a project or resource can be updated at any time as well. So let's go ahead and dive into Tempus and kind of show you how to set that up. So if we're here in Tempus, under the admin tile, you can actually kind of go and navigate to that. And today I just want to kind of go over project security groups and resource security groups, and basically how those tie to the project access and resource access. So project security groups and resource security groups are really a categorization that you can create. So here, you can go ahead and add. And so one common one that we see is archived. And what I like to kind of recommend for a lot of my clients is actually putting this SG behind it, just so that way you know where it's coming from when you get to the rules screen. So let's go ahead and create that. And let's go ahead and do, and if you'll notice the same kind of functionality here. And let's go, one common resource security group that we see is like maybe a leadership users group. And I'm just going to once again do that SG here. And I could have done like RSG or PSG for resource security groups or project security groups. But in essence, what's happening here is that, let's actually just zoom out for 1 sec. So if I go to like a resource and I say, okay, here's Chuck, and let's say I want to go ahead and grab the security group for the resource security groups. He's currently on default, but I can actually update him to say, hey, actually, I want him to be on the leadership group because I don't want everyone to have access to Chuck. Like he's not going to have capacity maybe, or maybe the leadership just wants to be able to come into Tempus and look at reports and look at, various, risks or projects or anything like that. So if you notice here, there was that one-to-one relationship. On Chuck, I could only pick one security group. And the same thing applies to projects. If I come in here and I look at security groups, I can only pick one. And so, for instance, if I click on this and I say, look, there's that archived SG now. And then really the way you tie this all together is in project access and resource access. So if I come back out to the admin file and back in here to project access, you can actually see here that add new rule, but we've already got the rules set up. So now, and you'll notice that, hey, let's talk about this resource manager. Let's say, hey, we have this resource manager. They can see all projects for the permissions we've already given them. And so here, this is where you can actually get a little more granular, and you'll say, hey, they don't really need access to archived projects. And let's just give them access to default and proposals and maybe those approved projects, however you want to categorize those. And you'll notice it's kind of like this folder in a folder icon next to it. It really represents that SG, those security groups. And so if I save it like this, now they don't have access to that archive security group. So if I logged in under a global role of resource manager, G, I would no longer have access to those projects. And really the same thing applies for resource access. For let's say this resource manager, and if I said, hey, I didn't want them to have access to, if I scroll down here, they kind of look like this person with a couple lines next to them saying, I don't want to give them access to like archived or those leadership users. So I'd give them access to everything else. Maybe I actually wouldn't want them to have access to that, but I want them to see like the support division or whatever it might be. And you can really categorize these however you want to according to your business context. If I go ahead and save this, Now resource managers don't have access to those archived security groups or those leadership security groups. And really, that's how to set up security groups and access within Tempus. If you need any more in-depth information on security groups and access, please definitely consult our Tempus University and the Tempus Help Center by clicking on the question mark icon up at the top right of your screen in Tempus, or feel free to reach out with any questions you have. Thanks for watching.